Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are live, but we are going to do some blunt cut ends. And we're doing 2 braids today, so it's going to be a little bit of a quicker style than yesterday. I'll go ahead and just turn the camera so you guys can see. And you can see that her hair is blonde, so I'm just going to get started braiding. You guys can come on in if you have any questions. As always, be sure to ask your questions. But I'm just going to go ahead and get the braid started. I actually already got the parting done. So again, it's just 2 braids. But we are going to tuck these blunt cut ends. If you're a braider, you know how difficult sometimes that can be. So we'll just go over a couple of steps of how to do that. Happy Friday. It's so funny because even though I've been braiding for ever now, when it's Friday, I still get that excitement, even though I have to still be here tomorrow. It's not like your job where it's like, hey, it's Friday, I'm off for the weekend.
No, it's like on my job. Everybody's like, oh, have a great weekend. Yeah, I'm still going to be here.
Yeah, it's like I'll see tomorrow. Oh, yeah. But I still have that mindset, you know? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I'm going to try my best to watch the comments, guys. The way my phone's set up, I can't really see the comments at the same time. So just give me a little bit. I will do my best. Okay, so let me just turn her a smidge so that you guys can see a little bit how we're about to get this braid started. Just turn it back a little bit towards me. I have so many exciting things going on here. My first client, she was going to Aruba.
Ooh.
Yeah. She's going to Aruba, you're going into labor.
We're gonna look nice though.
But you're going in style. I love it. I'm just gonna turn you just a smidge.
Yeah, he told my doctor, I don't think I'm gonna last 6 weeks. Because this guy is a chunker.
Aww.
He's already 6 pounds.
Oh, wow.
It's like,
Wow.
like, you know, they gain weight every 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, This is 10 pounds, you better rip him out.
Yes. But it's exciting, though.
Yeah.
So if you guys were on yesterday we did 2 braids with those curly ponytails, and oh my gosh, it was just crazy. I did not think I was gonna make it through the style because those ponytails were just giving me such a hard time that I was just like, oh my gosh, this cannot be happening right now. But thankfully we worked through it, we got it done. So I was very happy at the end. Because it was kind of like this, but we did some braids on the side. And then we did these curly weave ponytails at the bottom. And it was just oh my gosh. So.
I wanted to do that, but then I have to go back to work on Monday, and I'm like, then I'm gonna have to wear hair net.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just wait till I go on maternity leave.
Yeah, it was cute. It just, I didn't know what was gonna happen. So Guys, the reason why I've been going live a little bit more lately is because I want you to see that when you have, you know, braid clients, you're going to get so many different textures of hair. And so it's just good to get familiar or try to get familiar with braiding different textures. So, and I just like to showcase different textures on my channel because not every person has the same hair texture or the same hair color or anything like that. You know, everybody kind of is different. And I love blonde braids. I really do. So today's challenge is to tuck the ends. That's today's challenge. Because anytime you have blunt cut ends, they have a tendency to like stick out of the braid. So we want to make sure that they are nicely tucked and that she doesn't have to worry about those ends popping out. And one of the ways I do that is I kind of just try to start tucking early, even up in this part of the braid. I start trying my best to start tucking the hair. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions so far? If this is your first time on one of the lives, go ahead and comment so that I can say hello and all that good stuff. And if you were on yesterday's live, oh my gosh, leave a heart if you were on yesterday's live. It was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I was trying to like wrap the ponytail like the top of it. And the hair was like so silky that they had that it was like, it just kind of didn't really want to stay. So it was just nerve-wracking. And do you have your phone on you by chance?
I do, but it's in my purse.
Oh, it's in your purse. Okay.
You can grab it if you want. I trust you.
Whoops. I'll try to get down through this braid. Oh, let's see. What products are your favorite? Oh, that was the other thing we talked about yesterday too. So yesterday we went over like all of the different shining jams because they had just came out with like the orange one. And so I wanted to like test that out and see like, you know, how is it, how does it really work and everything like that. And, you know, I still have mixed feelings about it. So I would have to say right now, my favorite one is still the yellow one. Because I haven't used the other ones enough to say whether or not, you know, they're my favorite. So I would have to say the yellow one because that's the one that I've worked with the most. But I am going to be like using the red one, and I know like the green one is for edges and stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to be using those more as well. Because I feel like you can't use something one time and make a true determination. So, but I've used the orange one twice so far. And No, I like it. I just think that if I had to choose between the orange and the yellow, I'm probably going with the yellow. Okay. Starting to work our way towards the bottom of the first braid. Gonna be looking good for your baby shower.
Yeah. One less thing you have to do.
Oh yeah. I mean, having braids is like, that's,
I love the last time I came, we went to Kalahari.
oh yeah.
Oh, I was so happy. Just got up. Alright, let's go.
Right. Right. Well, sometimes, like, the thing with braids is like, man, once you have them in, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not that you don't have to do anything, but it just makes such a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Such a big difference. Yep, so now we're getting towards the end here. You can see my hand is turned. And I am going to start kind of thickening up the pieces. I know someone asked me yesterday, do I add the same size pieces? And it's not that I don't add the same size pieces, because I do for the most part. But sometimes when I get to the bottom, especially at the nape, I don't thicken it up too much, but if I know that I have a lot of hair to cover, this is the time where I may start adding some bigger pieces so that I can start to tuck them. Now here's the important part here, guys. You see this piece of her hair that's here? You have to take some of the braiding hair and kind of come over the top to cover it. And once you have that secured, then you can go on with your braid. And then you just want to do the same thing on the other side. And I even like to comb it in and gel, just so that it helps the hair adhere to each other and it causes an even better blend. I know a lot of braiders like struggle with this part, so that's why I just wanted to get on real quick and just talk about it a little bit. Because sometimes it's not an easy thing to figure out, but then once you get it, it becomes a little bit easier to figure out. It just takes a little bit of coordination of getting your hands and things in the right place. Yep, so we're still tucking. I'm still combing. I'm still placing. Like, sometimes I think that, like, when we just see these pictures and stuff on Instagram or other social media platforms, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, we don't realize the work that's going in. And so I just want to show that there's a lot of work and technique that goes into the braids that you see. Even though they just look pretty and you just think, oh, you know, those two braids, they were probably just done in a couple minutes. Like, there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of coordination that has to take place in order to really get that nice finished result. Yep, and we're still going ahead and tucking. You can see I'm just catching those hairs. And now here's the part too, because like, especially with this texture, you don't want to do it too tight because these baby hairs in the back, they can, if pulled the wrong way or snagged the wrong way, they can get like irritated. So while you're trying to make sure that everything is tucked and smooth and you know all of that, you still have to be careful as well. I see you. Hold on, let me see here. Okay, does your hands ever cramp? No, they don't actually. They actually don't. You know what sometimes will bother me, guys? If it rains or something, like sometimes my wrist will get a little sore. But other than that, nah, not really. So guys, at this point, I'll start even when I'm trying to tuck and make sure that those pieces are in there. I'll even add on both sides of the braid if I have to. Okay. I think we're doing a pretty good job here. And making sure. And guys, you know, I'm not perfect. I still sometimes will have a little piece or two. You know, it does happen. But for the most part, you just want to have a nice, clean, full braid. And that's the other thing we have to take into consideration as well. Because, and I'll move the camera back just a little bit. As you can see here, her hair is rather short in comparison to the braid. So when we have our hair added in, we have to make sure that it's full enough. Okay? So, because we don't want the braid to look too skinny now that it's dropping down and we're braiding down further and further. We still want the braid to look nice and full. Does that make sense? I see you pull from the hair. That's what I do. Yes, so I normally would like set it out on the rack, but I'm trying to learn how to just pull from the hair because it does save in some prep time. But sometimes I don't like to pull from the hair because then if it gets like, if you miss your pull one time, the hair gets like caught on itself and then you end up making a mess and wasting hair. So I'm trying to find that nice balance right now, guys, between pulling from the hair. I mean, I'm just experimenting with a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it does save time. It does definitely save time. So I've just been experimenting with a lot of different things, guys, to be honest. I've been experimenting with different products. Hi, I'm Denisha. I always have difficulty braiding in two. Okay, yeah, well, thank you, Denisha, because you know what? A lot of times people just think, oh, well, it's only two braids. And I'm thinking like, it's only two braids. People don't realize that while two braids is probably the simplest style, it is one of the most complex styles that you can do because you are gathering all of that person's hair into the two braids. So guys, I'm going to turn her real quick just so that you can get a little bit of a side view of what that braid just came out like. So that's the braid we just did together, guys. You can see that it is nice and consistent all the way through. And let me just show you the end here, okay? So you can see, okay, how that braid comes down. Okay, so let's do the other side. Let me just check the comments real quick. Yes, that's true. You have to pull down. Yes, yes. And Denisha, what would you say is your biggest struggle when it comes to two braids? Get the water on, guys, because we're gonna be done soon, guys. This is a short live. Yesterday, we were on live for probably like 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Yesterday was like, it was just crazy. It was a little bit more intricate too, of the style and things like that. So, you know, and that happens. So. Let's see. My one, I call them like my braid sisters. She said, you did a good job. I was struggling just watching. I do the braid neat, but it's the client's hair that never seems to be pulled in properly. Okay. Okay. Well, then keep watching, okay? Because now that we're on the other side, I didn't really talk through the braid that much because I don't want to kind of keep going over the same things like if somebody's not like asking for it, you know. But since you're asking for it, we can go over this side a little bit more in depth, okay? How's that? So I'm gonna actually move. I'm gonna move the camera a little bit here so that you guys can see. My biggest struggle is my part. It start off straight, and then when I start braiding, it's not straight. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so let's talk about that too really quick, guys. So what happens is that people's scalps are flexible, okay? I learned about this in cosmetology school. People's scalps tend to be flexible, and especially those who don't hold a lot of tension in their scalp. So I notice a lot of times that when I do men's hair, that's when I notice those parting struggles. Because, you know, well, of course, they don't stress the way that we do. But a lot of times men don't hold that same tension in their head the way that women do. So, like for them, I noticed that, and it's not every guy, so it's not every guy, but like I was saying, I do notice that when I go to do a guy's hair sometimes, I can go to part it straight, and then when I start braiding, it gets crooked. So what I like to do, and for the most part it helps, is that I part the hair with already some tension on the hair. Okay, does that make sense? So what I'm saying is, if I go to part a guy's hair, what I'll do sometimes is I might already put both sides into a clip, because that kind of adds some tension to the hair. Not too much tension because I don't want to pull it, but it just gives me an idea of, okay, let me see where his hair is going to go once I put some tension to it. So if I start off that way, I give myself a better start of parting, and I give myself a better chance of getting it straight because I parted it with tension versus without tension. So if you need me to explain that again, just let me know. But yeah, so, okay, so we're gonna get started on this side. The first thing that I do is I go ahead and I start using my gel to work through the client's hair. I think that sometimes, I know when I started braiding, one of my mistakes was that I wasn't using enough product, right? And it was actually my husband that was like, you know, babe, why don't you try to use a little bit more product? And I'm like, Nate, please, you know, because my husband's one of those guys that like just knows like random information. And so sometimes I like nudge him off, but like 85% of the time, 90% of the time, he's right. Yes, makes sense. I tried that, even pre-part and braid it. Yes. And that's the other thing, is you can pre-part your style too. And that also helps to make sure that your braids are going to be in the right spot. I like to do that, especially with box braids, and sometimes even my straight backs. I will make sure that I pre-part it first. So again, guys, the first thing for this side, we are going to make sure that we're molding our section. Okay, that's important for 2 braids. So, and even when you're doing your mold, like, it's okay to do like a following method where you're kind of taking your comb with the product and then taking your hand with the product as well, and following the comb. Okay, because I know that sometimes people have a hard time getting their braids even on both sides, but if you just take a little bit of time to mold it, I think, I don't get too much of your baby hairs, but I think that that helps, because you have to remember, you are the one who's in control of the braid. So you are actually the one who's placing that braid where it's going to go. And even where you stand is important. So it's good to make sure that you're in the right position to start the braid, okay? So that's the first thing we're going to do, is we're going to kind of mold that down. Any questions about molding? Nope. Okay, I don't think we have any questions yet about molding. Let me just grab this other part of the hair, guys. Oh, and let me show you too. So I use, let me show you the hair that I use. Okay. So I use the Sensational 2X pre-stretched braiding hair, 48 inches, okay? And so if it's saying 48 inches, that is the hair like this way, like, you know, from end to end, really just about maybe 24 inches. So this is the hair that I use. Let's see, I have this same problem parting. Oh, really? Okay, so yeah, try some of those tips that we just talked about. And then let me see. Okay, another question. I noticed my braid will begin to flip. If your braid is flipping, it could be because maybe you're not starting off with 3 equal sections, and maybe you might be I'm trying to think what causes a braid to flip. I think what causes a braid to flip is the lack of rhythm. So I always try to explain that there is a rhythm to braiding. And so if you're off rhythm, it can cause the braid to turn. You have to kind of make sure that you are, you know, I can really, really important. Okay. So I'm just getting some more hair ready, guys. And here's another thing with 2 braids. The front be perfect. I notice it starts to flip towards the middle. Yeah, okay. So maybe as you're getting towards the middle, maybe you're losing your grip some. And maybe that could be what's happening. I would just keep practicing. Just keep on practicing. Even if you have to get a mannequin head, just keep practicing, because I understand what you're saying. Like, let me turn you around for 1 second, love. So are you saying like in this area here? Because this would be like the middle part. But that's where Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a little cosmetology lesson. I feel like I am so boring because I'm such a nerd when it comes to this stuff. But it matters. It really does matter. So this part of the head, guys, from like this area above the ear across this whole back here to the other part of the ear. So you have this area down here, which is like your nape area. But then when you come up in here, you have this area here, then you have your crown, and then you have what's called the apex, which your apex is like the highest part of the head, okay? So that's up here. But when you're working around here, this is called the parietal ridge. This parietal ridge area is the widest part of the head. So it makes sense that if somebody starts to struggle with two braids, if they start to struggle in this area, that's probably because that's where the most hair is, because this is the widest part. Hey, honey. You just coming over to have your snack? Yeah. Okay. We're live on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, just trying to go for it. All right. Trying to comb through my hair. That's the other thing too. Like before we put the hair up, since I'm pulling it, I have to really make sure that the hair is combed through because I don't want it to tangle. So let me just grab the brush here, guys, real quick. Nice and clean. Okay, so this is the brush I use, okay? It's just one of those like detangling brushes. I didn't get it from anybody specifically. I think I found it at like a beauty supply store out of town somewhere. So it works really good with combing the hair out. Oh, you guys, thank you. And the other thing too, here's when I separate the hair like this, because I'm not the best at pulling it down, I like to separate it in two. So that this way, if I kind of mess up one side, I have another side to work from, okay? And then here's the other thing, guys. When you are doing two, I pre-part, I use product. If you've done all of what we're saying, then at that point, it's really just a matter of practice, okay? And trust me, it's taken me a long time to get down the art of two braids, and I'm still not perfect at it. Like there's times where I still don't get it the exact way that I want it to come out. You know what I mean? But I have to keep on doing it because it's not going to get better if I don't keep doing it. So one of the tricks that I've learned for two braids is when I'm on this side, I'm going to pull from the right of me. When I come on this side, on the left side, I'm going to try my best to pull from the left of me. So I'm going to take my wrap and I'm going to move it on the other side. The reason why I do that is because now while her hair is the same color, it may not have mattered. But if you were braiding black hair and you were adding blonde hair, when you were on the right side, the blonde's going to build on the right side. And then if you come over here and you start adding with the right side, now that blonde's going to build on the inside, and now your two braids are not going to look like the same color. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and move my hair. Hopefully I can pull with my left hand, Lord. Oh my gosh. Sometimes. All right. Let me see if I could get this. Sorry. Come on. Okay. So, get my hair there. Try to pull from this side. So let me move this a little bit, guys, so I can get my hair. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, then you're going to turn your client somewhat at an angle, and you want to be standing where that angle is like in front of you, okay? If you're trying to braid up here, don't stand too far to the right or don't come too far to the left, because your braid is gonna go in the direction of whatever you are. It's almost like you're steering, okay? So since I want it to be right here, I'm gonna stand almost right in front of where I want that braid to be. All right, so now I need my table to behave, because y'all know my table will fall. Okay. So I'm gonna bend her head just a little bit back. I'm gonna use the right side as a guide, and I'm gonna take out that same amount of hair. So I can see I kind of started like right about there. I'm gonna take that same amount of hair, and I'm gonna use that to start the braid. Okay. So I'm gonna start my braid, and I'm gonna pull my first piece in. Okay. I'm gonna pull my second piece in. So I'm just gonna continue to repeat that the whole way. Okay. So now, again, I'm just gonna start pulling my pieces in. If you have to comb through the hair a little bit, comb through the hair a little bit. The more control, I've noticed, let me put it this way. I've noticed that the more control you have, the better the braid's gonna come out. So it's not about how fast you can get through the braid. Okay. So now I'm gonna add a piece of the hair. And it's gonna be a smaller piece because I'm still at the small section. I want this piece of the hair that I'm adding, I want it to be, if not the same exact size of the hair I'm gonna put it under, if not the same exact size, a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna add that in, just one leg of it. And I'm gonna pull that leg in. And I kind of call that the follow the leader, but it's like a modified version. And if you guys wanna see that video, you can go on my channel, and it's called 5 Braids, 5 Ways with 1 Result. And I'll show you like different ways of how to add in hair for a feed-in braid. Okay, use my comb to smooth the hair a little bit. And I'm gonna just guide my piece in. Take a piece of hair, add that in. Okay guys, and I'm basically gonna repeat that same thing all the way down, okay? I feed all my hair in from the left. You are the best teacher, thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so you feed all your hair in from the left, okay. Are you left-handed? See, I find it hard to do it with my left, but I know that it does make my braid on the left side come out looking more closer to the one on the right. So I just try to be diligent about it, but it's not my favorite thing to do, y'all. Okay, and then still, like I said, use your gel. Make sure that the hair you're adding is starting to cover the hair that it's going over. Babe, can you pull that for me? Thank you. I'm getting stuck in this hair, y'all. Oh, you're right-handed. Okay. Are you falling asleep on me?
I am.
Oh.
I am so relaxed.
Well, that's a good sign, guys.
I am so like.
No, that's a good sign. That's so funny. My clients fall asleep all the time. It's fine.
It feels so relaxing. I don't know.
Good.
When somebody just does something to my hair, it's like, oh.
Right. No, it's fine. You're good.
If I start snoring, I apologize.
I'll say, girl, wake up. Well, that's proof, guys. You know, don't braid too tight. You know, you want your clients to be comfortable. I don't know when the last time I had my hair done from somebody else, you know. It's hard, especially when you do hair. So I'm still adding in my pieces, guys. And I'm gonna just turn her just a smidge. We're almost done, guys. This is, like I said, this live today is not going to be like yesterday. So, babe, yesterday on the live, I almost couldn't finish this. Like, I thought I wasn't going to be able to finish the style.
Finish what stuff?
The style.
Why?
Because I ran into, this issue with the hair that I had to add. Like, the curly, it was like the curly ponytail part of the hair. And I couldn't get it to stay. And thankfully, everybody in the comments was like, oh, try some glue, do this, do that. And so they were giving me all these suggestions, and I was like, ooh, but we got it. I had found some Got To Be glue, because I thought I was out.
It ain't the other glue.
No, not the Gorilla Glue. No, not the Gorilla Glue. I had found,
You need to be training for that.
No, I had found this other, the yellow, the freeze spray one. And that's what we needed. So it ended up coming together. But, man, I was like, oh my gosh, not on the live. But it was real, though, you know. So I was kind of happy that it happened because I just wanted to show that, it gets real. It happens to the best of us. It is what it is. Especially when you're using stuff that you've never used before. Or you're using a brand that you never used before. Has that ever happened to you guys? Have you ever been doing a style and just ran into a hiccup or some kind of trouble that you're just like, oh man, how am I going to work my way out of this?
Yeah, both times.
And it's nerve-wracking too. It's very nerve-wracking, especially for me because part of I won't say that I'm a perfectionist, but I mean, I do try, to get it as good as I can. I mean, I don't ever want to feel like I didn't give it my all. Okay, I'm I'm still trying to check the comments, guys, so just give me 1 second. And you know what, love? Yesterday I opened up my iPad, but for some reason I couldn't see the comments from my iPad.
I know. Not sure why.
Okay, guys, so I'm gonna grab this last piece here, like right here, and then I'm probably gonna flip my hands, because that helps me to tuck better. So after this, I'm gonna pull in this piece here. And sometimes I still have to use the gel, guys. So like the gel is helping me do some of the smoothing before I bring my part in. Or the section, should I say. Okay, now I'm gonna flip my hands and I start pulling in this way. Because now that my hands are kind of this way, I have more control over how I'm gonna cover her hair. Some people don't have to do that, but it's just something that I find easier for me to do. Keep combing it together and making sure that all the pieces, as much as I can get, are all kind of staying together. And that the hair that I'm adding is on top of her hair. Do you guys feel like you have a side that's easier to do than the other side with 2 braids? I always wondered that, because I always feel like sometimes the right side is a little easier for me. But then again, I don't know. Sometimes the left side feels easier, so I guess it just depends. Oh, your appointment is here, hon? Oh, see, like, this is one reason, like, if you guys saw this hair, the right side, at least for me. Yeah, no, it's real. Like, do me a favor, hold your finger, like, right there. Yeah, see? This is where, when the hair starts getting tangled up, guys, this is where I'm like, I'm done with it. This is why I like to have my pieces ready. Because if the hair gets messed up, my hands are in your head. So I can't, it's not that much I can do. And I'm at a part where it's like, I can't let it go, you know? Yeah, hold it right there for me. Yep, just while I pull. Thank you. Okay, and then again, guys, I'm going to use the whole thing. But again, I'm just going to kind of start doubling up a little bit, because I want to start building this braid here, okay? All right, now I'm going to have you hold it again. Yep, just hold it right there. See, that works. Teamwork makes the dream work. So guys, if you have to have your client just kind of press down on the hair a little bit while you hold it or while you pull it, like let me get it up over that, and then you just hold that part. Perfect. That works. So that's still better than your client like holding the hair the whole time. But just remember guys, you're gonna have to improvise sometimes, you know, like I said, braiding is just like one of those things that while you have a lot of control, there's going to be things where you may have to, I guess you could say, like, just work on the fly with. Like, you got to just keep going, you know? You just figure out solutions and keep going. Perfect. Thank you.
No.
Okay, and I'm still just covering up her hair. How's that looking, guys? I can't really see from the side yet. Perfect. Oh, girl, listen, I'm gonna hire you.
I'll hold the hair.
Okay, what's your job title? I just hold the hair down on the rack so it doesn't fall off. But hey, that's an important job, trust me. Trust me. So, yep guys, and you can see like, you can barely even see any of her hair at all. Looks good to me. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody said perfect. Okay. Guys, I wish you could see the little system that we have going on right now. But don't be afraid to pay attention to those little details, guys. That's how, to me, that's how, you know, you really up your game. And that's how you really separate yourself. Braiding is really big right now. And there's a lot of braiders out there. And I think that all braiders are good because we have a unique skill. And just because we might not be able to braid like somebody else doesn't make us not good. Because we can still braid better than the person who can't at all. You know, so just remember that. You know, your what you call it, your skill is still a skill. And don't be down on yourself just because, oh, my braids don't look like so-and-so's. Always remember that comparison is the thief of joy, okay? And I had to teach myself that. Now, see, look. This is what I'm talking about. You see that little hair sticking out? Now we got to go back and get that. But comparison, like I said, is the thief of joy. And basically what that means is if you're so busy comparing yourself to other people's work, you're going to miss out on the joy that you could have on just making progress. And I really had to learn that. Here we go. I really had to learn that in my braiding, you know, experience, because in the beginning I was so down, you know, because I was comparing myself to people that the people who were seeing me didn't even know about. So it's like when I would say like, oh, well, my braids aren't like so-and-so's, the people I would say that to would be like, well, who is that? They don't, you know, the people that you're doing their hair and stuff, 9 out of 10 times, they're not into braiding the way that you are. So they might not even know these bigger name braiders that you're holding yourself up against. So then I had to reroute my thinking to say, you know what? I'm not trying to be better than, you know, this person. I'm not trying to be better than, I'm going to use the whole thing, baby.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be better than this person. I'm not trying to be better than that person. I'm trying to be better than me. I'm trying to be better than the style I did yesterday. I'm trying to be better than the style I did a year ago. You know, and things like that. Then I was able to really enjoy the process and the improvement that God was allowing for me to experience. So that's a great way to look at it. I appreciate that a great deal. You're welcome. You're welcome. Um, and it really is the truth. Like, I just want to be transparent, guys, because I've been like back braiding since like 2017. And I can't sit here and tell you that every single day was a dream, you know, or that every single day I slayed every style and, you know, all that stuff. Like, it takes time, and it takes being willing to continue to learn. I think I said that yesterday. Like, don't ever get to a place where you feel like you can't learn, because the day that you stop learning is the day that you might as well consider yourself not even alive, because you have no room to grow. You have no room to be anything else for anybody else. Like, you have to be in a constant state of, you know what? Okay, I want to improve this. I want to improve that. Like, I'm still at a place where I'm still going to take classes for stitch braiding. Do I know how to stitch braid? Yes. But can I improve? Yes. You know, and that's just like with anything in life. It doesn't have to be about, you know, just braiding and stuff like that. But just appreciate your journey. Appreciate how far that God has brought you. Appreciate how just, you know, you may have started here. Like, I tell people sometimes, like, they'll be like, oh, I'm trying to get more clients. I'm trying to get more clients. I'm trying to get more clients. And it's like, that's all good. Don't get me wrong. But you do have to somewhat be grateful, even if you only have 5 clients. You got to be grateful for those 5, because at some point you had 0. You know, and if and maybe you have 10, and maybe you're looking for 20. Well, be grateful for the 10. And the more that you're grateful for where you're at and what you have, I feel like that's when sometimes you just get blessed with more and more, because you're grateful for just the little, you know. And I noticed that helps me too, you know, when I'm like striving, like, I gotta get this, I gotta do this, I gotta get this, you know, I'm always trying to push, I gotta put this much out there for content, I gotta, you know, then I have to start reminding myself, you know what, Neek, look from where you came from. Look, you have to look back sometimes. You know, you're doing a lot more than what you used to be able to do and produce. So that's my little like spiel for today. I don't know. I've just really been in like a grateful kind of like gratitude-esque. Well, you saw what I was listening to when you came in. Like, so I think that's kind of just got in my head today, but I'm glad, because sometimes we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of trying to be this thing. You know what I mean? And we're so pressured by social media and all this stuff that, like, oh, this does look good. Let me stop talking for a second to look at these comments, because I'm just going on and on here. You have a very nurturing spirit, which is why I enjoy watching your content. That's a rare in this business. Thank you. And I appreciate that. I really, like, I'm telling you guys, I'm only telling you because I myself have fell victim to this, of trying to meet this social media like norm, and trying to, you know, do this and do that. And it's like, you know what? I'm really just working on letting go of the perfection, letting go of the worry of, oh my gosh, how do I look? How do I this? How do I that? Not that we don't care about ourselves, but we have to remember what's real and what's not real. And a lot of the times what we see on social media is not real. It's not, like, you have to remember, you are getting, think of it like this. When you see a picture of somebody's braids on social media, and I will use myself as an example because I ain't gonna talk about nobody, but out of the 20 pictures I took, which picture you think I'm posting on social media? The best one? The best well-lit one? The best one that the filter just made it look so good? Like, I'm not gonna post the worst one. So then when you come on social media and you see this thing and you see this line of people's work, where you see 10 pictures, they probably took 50 pictures to get those 10 pictures on their thing, or whatever the case may be. If I post a picture of myself, Which one do you think you're going to get? You're going to get the best one where that filter was hitting just right. Like, oh, thank you, Lord, for these filters. Okay. You know, you're not going to get the worst one where maybe I had an extra neck roll or, you know what I'm saying? I was looking a little extra chubby that day or, you know, whatever you want to call it. Maybe my hair was sticking up in a certain spot. I didn't want it to stick up. Like, that's not the picture you're going to get. You're going to get the best of the whatever pictures that I took. So I just want for those people who, I don't want to say follow me, but for those people who really like my content and really like gravitate to what I try to put out, I just want you guys to understand that I'm going to try to be transparent in any way possible that I can, because people are so discouraged off of false things. And I know that because I was one of them. In the beginning of my journey, I was so discouraged, thinking that like these people were so much better than me. But it's like, no, it's not that they're better than me. It's just that they might have been in their journey longer and you don't know what they had to go through to get to where they're at. So just appreciate your journey. Appreciate where you're at. Appreciate where your skill is at. And just keep declaring that I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to, you know, whatever the case may be. And just be hungry for it. Because that's when you'll start really seeing. And I don't know why this is in my spirit so heavy today. Like all day this has been in my spirit. I've been posting on Instagram. I came on here live. Like I don't know what it is, because I really feel like there's braiders that are out there really like struggling big time because they don't have enough belief in themselves. And I saw this thing on Instagram one time and it just sat with me like, there are people who are less qualified than you doing more than you just simply because they believed in themselves. So you see people out here with big channels and big social media followings and stuff like that. And to me, sometimes their work don't even be all that, but it doesn't matter because they believe in themselves. Other people believe in them too. So that's, for me, that's what I had to start getting that big energy too. Like, I'm not in the back. I'm right in the front too. And I would tell my husband, like, he could tell you, he could come over here and tell y'all, because we work next door to each other. There would be times where I'd be like in tears crying to him, like, you know, babe, I just want a seat at the table. I just want a seat at the table. That was like one of my best, like, favorite sayings, I guess you can say, that I would tell him. And his response to me would be like, babe, you are the table. So you don't have to have a seat at the table. You be the table and you create seats for other people, you know, and stuff like that. So it's like when I had to start thinking about it like that, I'm like, wow, you know, I'm not saying that I walk around arrogantly, but you do have to have some kind of belief in yourself when you're trying to like step out.
And that's in everything.
And that's in everything. It is. It's not just braiding. It could be mothering. It could be being a wife. It could be if you're an employee, even, you know, or whatever, wherever you are at that space and time, you know, in your life. Like, just, I guess my whole thing is just don't be blinded by social media, guys. Don't be blinded by the glitz. Don't be blinded by the glam. I mean, you know, I post pictures that have the little sparkly filters on it every other day. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't show the behind the scenes where I'm back here like, man, I'm sweating, I'm hot, I'm tired. My back, my feet is burning. Like, nobody talks about all that. You know what I mean? And that's why I just want to, again, I just want to be real. I don't know why I keep going on these tangents today. But for whatever God put that in my spirit today, and I really just hope that even one person can just be helped and realize that you are enough. You are blessed. You can do it. You know, with practice and with different things, like you don't know where you could be a year from now or even 6 months from now with just some like head down consistency with that narrow path and thought and drive to say, you know what, setting goals for yourself and actually completing those goals. Like, those are the things that really will build character and will build your clientele and will build your business and all of that stuff. Because half the time, trust me, your clients are not following the same people that you're following. Like, they don't know. Like, I could probably name like 5 braiders to her right now and she'd be like, what?
I wouldn't know, not one of them.
You know? So, Like I said, guys, just be encouraged. But let me go ahead and get on with the style so that my client can get home. She has a baby shower tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we had to get her right real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Shine and Jam, guys. This is the mousse that I use. I will say I am crazy about this mousse. Crazy about it. Ever since I started using it, I haven't used any other mousse. So I highly suggest it. And I think the one reason why I like it is that it's the application. It doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't take a lot at all. And I like the way that it can be distributed. So there's some of this not Shine and Jam, Tropical Roots and other mousses and things like that where you have to like pump it. And to me, especially if you braided like a whole head or you did some like medium knotless or something like that, I mean, I don't know how other braiders feel, but the last thing that I want to do is sit there and pump that mousse. Trying to pump. I want to be able to squeeze and just it come out. And it might be like lazy of me. I don't know. But I just feel like sometimes my hands are a little tired after those bigger styles. So to me, I just like the distribution of this. And I like the way that it works too. I really think that it holds the flyaways down. And you know, I really could do some extra steps, guys, and I could put like a do-rag over the top, or I can put even like those strips, but I don't have any right now. And to be honest, it's not really that needed. I think it's an extra step, don't get me wrong, and it does and can help, but it's not really needed. But I am going to start doing it again, especially once I get a blow dryer that my clients can sit under. That's going to be a step that I definitely incorporate. And so then this last part, guys, is I'm just going to go ahead and dip her in. So does anybody have any questions before? Oh, let me read this here. Everything happens for a reason, and because the industry is getting oversaturated, you need to hear feedback. Oops. Hold on. Let me get that back. You need to hear feedback like this. So thank you for being so sincere. Oh, James, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us on the live today. I've just been going live randomly, guys. I don't have a schedule or, you know, anything like that. I just kind of, like I said, I'm really just working on this letting go of this perfection thing. And so it's very, Ooh, I didn't even turn the water on, y'all. See, this is what I'm talking about. I can't make this stuff up. But yeah, I'm just really trying to work on this, not, you know, having to be so perfect. And one thing for me, just being honest, it's very challenging to go live because I don't know what type of things I'm going to encounter. So if I'm live, I mean, you guys just get to see it firsthand. And so I am learning to embrace that. So what do you guys do to dip your ends? Do you guys use an electric tea kettle? Do you guys use like a cup? Do you guys pour the water in? What do you guys do? I use an electric tea kettle. We're doing good too, because we were supposed to be done at 3:45 and it's 4 o'clock. So, I mean, with all the extra that we had to do to get ready, so. And with the live, I mean, because sometimes going live adds a little time to the style because I'm trying to do the hair and answer questions and stuff like that. So, it's pretty good. So for those of you, if you guys just joined, we did 2 braids today, and the main focus of this live was to tuck the ends. So her ends were pretty blunt cut, but you can tell by the thumbnail that her ends are pretty straight across. Her hair length is roughly like right about here. So we just talked about how to tuck and how to get this like nice smooth seamless braid here. So that's what our live was about today. And if there are no other questions, I am probably just going to go ahead and end the live if we don't have any other questions. I don't want to not give anybody an opportunity, but if you did not get an opportunity to comment on this live or have your question answered or whatever the case may be, you can go ahead and follow me at Neek_Lynn. I don't know how to comment on here, but you guys can follow me at Neek_Lynn on Instagram. If you guys want to join the Facebook group, which is growing very nicely, I am so happy about that, for real, because that group is where I spend a lot of time at, a lot of time talking to other braiders. We just crossed the like 500 member mark, so I'm just very excited about that because it's just full of just wonderful braiders, and they have really become my sisters. I swear to you, like, I just love these girls so much. If you want to join the group, you can join on Facebook at Hair Hustle Hope Collective. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I can be followed at Neek_Lynn. So guys, thank you so much for joining our live today. Like I said, all I'm doing is going to dip the ends here. So I'm going to end the live, but I really appreciate the conversation that we had. I hope you feel encouraged, and I hope you feel like it was meant for you to be on today's live. So guys, thank you so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.